If I am an anarchist, then only to the extent that anarchy means freedom for the working people. This is what Nestor Ivanovich Makhno, a man who was either adored or hated, said about himself. He was called both Father Makhno and the Black Raven of the Revolution. He was the one who could turn a crowd of peasants into an invincible army, who burned empires and fled from the very axe of the executioner. By the way, if you are interested in our presentation of history, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. This motivates us to tell you even more about the heroes who changed the world. Nestor Makhno was born on October 26, 1888, in the small village of Guliapole, Ekaterinoslav province. An orphan from early childhood, he worked on the Lord's lands from an early age, understanding that the life of peasants is just a constant chain of injustice. Young Makhno quickly joined the revolutionary movement. In 1908, he was arrested for participating in underground activities and sentenced to life in hard labor. It was in Butyrka prison that he met Pyotr Arshinov, who opened the door to the world of anarchism for him. But fate prepared a different path for him. In 1917, after the February Revolution, Nestor was released and returned to his native Guliapole to begin his own struggle. When the Germans and Hetman Skoropadsky come to Ukraine, Makhno raises an uprising. His detachment is yesterday's peasants, armed with scythes and sawed-off knives, but with incredible faith in their own cause. On September 26, 1918, they capture Guliapole. From now on, this small territory becomes the heart of an anarchist republic, where there are no masters and slaves, only free communities that decide their own fate. His army grew, and soon he had over 50,000 fighters under his command. They fought against everyone: Denikin's White Guards, Lenin's Bolsheviks, Petlura's troops, Polish units. After the fall of the Tsarist regime, Ukraine was torn apart by wars, revolutions, and regime changes. Skoropadsky, Petlura, the Bolsheviks, the White Guards, all sought control over the country. Makhno believed in something else, in free peasant communities without the power of masters and the state. His army acted so quickly that the enemies did not have time to react. Guerrilla attacks, rapid retreats, unexpected raids. This was a new style of warfare, which even the Bolsheviks later adopted in their Red Army. Makhno didn't just fight. He changed the very tactics of war. His legendary Tachankas, light carts with machine guns, became a deadly weapon of steppe warfare. They left no chance for the enemy. Mobility allowed the Makhnovists to deliver unexpected blows and quickly disappear, forcing the enemy to fight in conditions that were inconvenient for them. By the way, what do you think of Makhno's tactics? Could they be effective in the modern world? Write your opinion in the comments. It will be interesting to read your thoughts. Makhno himself could not have achieved such success without his commanders. Fyodor Shkuz, a fearless cavalryman and scout who repeatedly saved the army from encirclement. Semyon Karatnik, a strategist who helped organize combat operations. Vasyl Kurilenko, one of the toughest partisans who led attacks on the enemy's rear. These people were not just his comrades, they were those who created history with him. Despite the constant battles and the threat of death, Makhno was not alone. His closest person was Galina Kuzmenko, a woman who shared his struggle and belief in anarchism. Galina was not just his wife, but his advisor, friend, and ally. She supported him in difficult moments, wrote articles, and dealt with organizational issues in the Guliapole Republic. Together they experienced numerous escapes and defeats, but remained together until the end. In 1920, the Red Army, which had previously collaborated with Makhno, decided to destroy him. On November 6 of that year, the Makhnovists helped the Bolsheviks take Crimea and defeat Wrangel, but within a few days they themselves became enemies of the Soviet government. The Red Army began mass repressions against the Makhnovists. They either fled or were captured and died in the Chaikaz dungeons. In August 1921, Nestor and a small group of fighters escaped abroad, through Romania, Poland, and then ended up in France. In Paris, he lived in poverty, worked as a carpenter, and wrote memoirs. On July 25, 1934, Nestor Makhno died in poverty, far from his native Guliapole. His name was forgotten for many years, but his memory lived on among the peasants who once fought under his black banner. Was he a noble freedom fighter? Or just a bandit chieftain? History still argues about him. But the fact remains, Makhno became a symbol of the struggle of the Ukrainian peasantry against any enslavement. Makhno was a lightning bolt in the darkness, a flash of anger from those who did not want to be slaves, wrote one of his contemporaries. And even though more than 100 years have passed, this fire still burns.